So a lot of things have been happening just recently, but what I do have to do is finish off that hatch that's on top of the Kombi. I've been putting it off long enough and I do need to get it done. I was hoping to go to a car show today, this morning, but it had been raining all night, and when I checked the weather forecast it was just going to be raining in the afternoon. Well, it rained all night right up until the time I was ready to leave, and yeah, so I decided, okay, I won't go because it's on grass and the grass will be wet, etc. But I'll just show you what the weather's like. Oh, there you go. It's absolutely gorgeous. Wouldn't that annoy you? So here's the hatch I want to work on. So I'm going to back the Kombi out of the garage and start work on this. Right, so this is the hatch that I want to replace. This is just a piece of tin up here. I've managed to source the original hinges for the Kombi, so it's a matter of unscrewing this, taking this out, and matching this up to the new hatch. I'll have to put it on and just make markings. So we'll see how we go. Oh. Well, it certainly makes it a bit brighter. Lovely day though, have a look at it. Beautiful. I could have been at that car show. Never mind. So now that it's all open, I've just got to put the new hatch up and mark out with these hinges for that piece to be marked on the hatch. So here we go. Right. Here we go. Right. So this is the hatch now. Now pressing down to make sure it looks all nice and even, which it appears to be. So now to mark out the screw holes. Okay, the next thing I've got to do is mark out for these hinges where the holes go. Now, the interesting thing is, if I do that, oh, here we go. Got the one on this side exactly where I want it, so mark that one. Now I've got to mark this other one. Exactly where I want it. So let's loosen this up so it can go up easy. Now there, it looks to me to be a fair way in. So what I'll do is I'll put this up here. Like that all. Right. Okay. Now that I've marked the first holes for the end of each of one of these, I'm going to take this out now. And see if I can't get a matching direct screw hole. So we'll do that next. Yeah, so as I was saying, when it was in the Kombi, this is the first screw hole marking that I've made, and for each side I'm going to make sure firstly that they're in the same measurements from the corners, same on this side up to there, and once I get that established I can then drill a hole in each of those and put this whole hatch back up on the Kombi, because once that's screwed in, then I can adjust the back ones to suit, to make sure that they're not going to be skew width, like that hinge that way or something, or that way, but they're dead straight. So that's what I'm aiming at for both of those. So we'll get the same measurements for those, and then we can put this up and get the back measurements squared on. So I shall start with that. Right, I think this is going to be a two-man job. Reason being, because I need someone to poke the bolt down from the top while I wriggle around with that little plate and slide another washer and a lock nut onto it. So yeah, I think it's going to be a two-man job. Well, it is now the next day, and I've decided, well, yesterday I decided to leave the job because I needed two people to give me, it was a two-person job, one to work from the top holding the bolt down and me underneath doing the screwing or what have you. And I was having all sorts of problems, so I just decided I'll pack it up, try again today. Well, overnight I had a light bulb come on. I realised that the hinges actually come in two parts. So why don't I just undo the hinge at the joint where the wing nut is, and take the top off, take the hatch away, drill the holes, put the bolts down through it and everything, and then when I finish with it all, drop it down, and all I have to do is the wing nuts. I don't need another person to give me a hand. So that goes to show you, I don't know if you've ever had this yourself, done jobs and what have you, and you're fiddling around, it's just not going well, but you decide you'll pack it in, come back the next day, and everything works fantastic. Well, let's hope it works that way today. I'm going to start on what I thought of last night. I'm going to do that now, and we'll see how it goes. Right, So the first thing I'm going to do is just undo these wing nuts here. So spring that off. Make sure I don't lose it. And the washer. Right. Separate those two. And do the same on the other side. Undo the wing nut. Whoop. As I say, don't lose it. And the washer, now where did that wing nut go? Oh yes, I've got it. Right. And then release that part. Now I can lift up the whole of this hatch. No problem. Just up like that. And drop it back down. So there you go. Right, so I've marked out my second hole by bringing this around, making sure it's level with the side. Same on this side, mark that, level with the side. If I bring it around to where I've marked it, hang on. Yep. There you go. Drill those holes, put the bolts on, and then I can take this back. Now, another thing I must do is take this protective covering plastic off. So I'll do that now. Now, another thing I have is I've got some of this edging. You can see here some edging. Like you see around car door trims, etc. I'm going to put this around the hatch just to stop any rattling noise or whatever, because it is sort of like a little rubber type thing. But I'm going to put that on the hatch to, yeah, as I say, just make it look better and stop any noise that comes through. So I'll do that, and then I'll screw the screws in. I think that's a better way to go. Right, one thing I am going to do is this edging. I'm going to place it in some boiling water to soften it up, make it easier to squeeze onto that hatch cover, because it's a bit tight and I don't want to start tapping away in it with a rubber hammer and then crack the hatch cover. So I thought if I boil up some water, and then I can have that down there, some hot water, and I can just put the trim onto it, and I think it'll be a lot easier that way. Let's hope. Right, I've got my pot here of hot water. Now it's not boiling water, it's pretty close to it though. So I can dip this into it to soften it up, as you'll see. Just going to dip it in like so. And it's going to make it a lot more softer and more pliable to put on to the hatch. So I'm just getting plenty of hot water on there. Right, now I should be able to easily apply this onto the side. A lot easier than if it was cold. So that's it, going on nice and easy. So that was good. Right, rightio, don't look too closely, but I've got my trim all the way around. It's very hard doing those angle ones, but anyway, that'll do. Now I'm just going to bolt these down, and that'll finish, hopefully, the hatch so I can put it back. Rightio, I've got all my nuts tightened down, bolts and nuts on the top. They're all tightened down, got my trim around the edge, got that all done. The last thing to do is I'm going to put some of this, there you go, clear sealant on the top, just to waterproof around these. They use this on boat fittings, etc. So yeah, so it insulates and waterproofs as well. So let's put this on. Right, after a quick clean with a cloth, we're going to stick the hatch back on the Kombi and hope my theory works. That would be really good. Right. Oh, jeez. I'm sure there's an easier way of getting these on, but they're not playing ball. Very, very hard. So I'm going to keep struggling at it, and eventually I'll get it, hopefully. We'll see how we go. Now I managed to get this one on okay, but this one, that's another story. Oh, in saying that, it's on, I think. So we'll screw these up. Well, there's the hatch in the upright position. I'll just back off here, I think. There we go. That's open. Now, I'll see how it looks closed. That's going to be interesting. Well, it went down okay. It looks pretty good. That side looks pretty good as well. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's have a look around the front. Yeah, that looks pretty good, although I'd like this side to come down a bit further. Oh, there we go. That looks good. Excellent. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I may put a little latch in here because if the wind gets up, they could rip that up and break the hatch. So we're just going to have to see how that goes. But we'll have a look from the outside and see what it looks like now. Well, it's looking pretty uniform around here. It doesn't go all the way down, and it looks pretty uniform front and back and along the side there. So we'll go and check from the other side and see what it looks like. Once again, this is looking pretty good. It's pretty uniform all the way around, and I don't think it can go down much further because of the lip on here. It doesn't go all the way down, so that's alright. Yeah, quite happy with that. And oops, just make sure I don't get any of that silicone on my fingers. And it's not wanting to lift up, so that's really good. So we'll see how that goes. Well, that's where I think I'll leave it for this week. Just a short video doing the hatch, just in case you get one of those and you want to see how it goes. Works perfectly. I'm happy with it, so we'll just leave it at that. Anyway, stay tuned, because coming up, probably in the next video, we've got a bit of an announcement to make. Something quite interesting is going to happen on the channel. So that's next week, and we'll talk about it then. In the meantime, stay safe. Catch you later on. Bye bye.